don't do that, I'll do this, I'll put this angle on the song or what have you. So that's still to do. So as a vocalist and a top liner, I prefer to have the whole album finished first so I can hear where my space is. I can be influenced by what the band have played, and that will influence the way my melody goes and my rhythm and my timing and syncopation and what have you. So, so I'm looking forward to it all being done. It will be done soon.
Well, obviously you're touring quite a bit, so that doesn't help, does it, with getting everything organised? And with your chest infection at the moment, that's not going to help.
Not really, no, and the band are all busy as well. It's because the band this isn't the source of the band. Everybody plays in different outlets as well. We've all got different things that we do, so trying to get the diaries all linked up together is sometimes difficult when you're all busy. But we're getting there. We've got another couple of dates booked in July.
Yeah, which I'll be talking about, the one that people can come and see you in right as we say goodbye. But I mean, you mentioned you're 53. You used to live in Northampton, which is fairly close locally, but you don't live here. You don't live in Northamptonshire now.
No, I moved from London with my parents when I was about 3. Your dad gets that job in the new part. There's a new estate built up, and the company transfers out to Northampton or Bedfordshire or Milton Keynes wasn't even there at that point. So I did move out very early. I'm kind of glad I did because I had a nice upbringing in a quiet village. I didn't have to find out who I was quite as quickly as I perhaps would have done if I had lived in London and gone to school in London. So I was quite grateful for that. It gave me a little bit more time to think about who I was and what I wanted to do. And I went to a nice little primary school that was very, very small, so you got that extra, little bit that kids get when the classes aren't full up. So I am very fortunate that Mum and Dad moved out there. But so now I live out in Newbury now with my kids and grandchildren.
Very nice, very nice. And I understand you've got a baby grandson, and it's called Baby Otis.
I have 2 grandchildren.
Oh, you have 2 grandchildren.
He's 5 in September. Elaru, who is 2 and a bit, and my daughter is currently waiting to give me yet another one grandchild. So on that side of my life, I can't be any happier and
that's
fulfilled. And plus the fact all the family still live with us in my house.
Really? You must have
my wife, my daughter and her husband, my son and his girlfriend, his fiancée, and my 2 grandchildren. So
that's fabulous.
It's a very Mediterranean kind of sort of setup we have here,
That's good. Well, I guess, because the grandson was called Otis, I guess Otis Redding is one of your heroes.
Oh, he is, yeah, but I don't think that actually had any part in me, my daughter, naming the child, so I was really glad that she didn't just go, there's a famous singer. She just thought the name was really lovely, and but for me, as a granddad and a singer, to have a grandchild called Otis, to be able to mention that word every day
I know, it's fabulous, isn't it? Because who would you say your music, when you were growing up, who would you say were your musical heroes or you like?
Well, I think when I was very, very young, before I ventured into wanting to be a singer, I think Elvis Presley was something that I listened to quite a lot. Frank Sinatra. My dad worked for a company called BASF, who had a record company, so he was always bringing cassettes home and what have you. So I got to listen to a lot of Oscar Peterson and a lot of Sinatra, a lot of Monty Alexander. So I had a lot of jazz in the house as well when I was a kid. I didn't realise what it was. It was just this music, I didn't quite know what genre it was, but then I'm kind of glad about that because I've never really genreised music anyway.
No.
I like music for what it is. I don't care what genre it is linked with. I just like music. If it's good, I like music.
We try and put it in little boxes, don't we? And I'm not a big lover of that. And the Americans are even worse. If you go over to the States, they have a country station. They have this station. They have that station. A soul station, and it's I must admit I like most music. I won't say all music because there are some things that I don't like. And I just a bit like yourself. I love listening to what I call good music. Well produced, well sung, well performed music.
You can tell, I think, as a writer or as a listener, you can tell straight away whether someone spent a lot of time thinking about what they're writing and thinking about the arrangements of the song and so all that stuff that I listened to as a kid, that was definitely paramount into making me who I was today. Aretha Franklin. I remember getting the songs in the Key of Life album by Stevie Wonder and wearing it out those albums that totally changed me.
The guy's a
Well,
legend.
I got it when I was 12 years old, so I didn't really understand what it was all about. You know, you listened to it first one morning as a 12-year-old boy, went to bed and woke up as a 35-year-old man. You know, in your head, and you couldn't quite place what had just gone into your head. It was so overwhelming. And it was only later on in life I realised what he was singing about. And Marvin Gaye, the What's Going On album, you know, it goes on forever and ever and ever, you know. But now I'm listening to people like, Marc Broussard. I really like Marc Broussard. There's a new band that I've just got hold of called the Brothers Landreth, a Canadian band. Just awesome. I mean, it's probably my favourite album this year. I've just played it to death so far. I like Tedeschi Trucks, Derek Trucks, you know, those kind of people. Stevie Wonder, I love Elvis Costello and the Attractions. And then I've got my soul side like Maxwell and D'Angelo and things like that, you know. So I don't really I don't stick to one genre of music. I'm all over the place. And I'm just getting into things like, you know, Wishbone Ash and people like that, only because they've been on tours that we've been on. You go, oh, that's interesting. And I think as an older person, you can kind of listen to that and go, oh, okay, I see what that is. You know, the Stones and the Beatles, all that sort of stuff. You know,
I must admit, I'm a huge Elvis fan, but I also think you can. They always say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I think you can teach an old dog to listen to some great music.
Yeah, Elvis. I didn't realise quite what a complete, you know, beat Elvis was actually, or his management was, until I got a little bit older and realised that he just stole everything. And I'm just thinking, wow, yeah, but that's the same today. So maybe he was the first one, you know, to start listening to what was then considered to be black gospel music, church music, and just putting his own twist on it for what I consider then for Elvis's audience to be primarily a white audience. So for him really to do that, it was a bit naughty that they stole so much, and perhaps the original writers didn't get paid for these things. Or
it's. I mean, in the 60s,
but it did open up that music to an audience that were perhaps still into, you know, church gospel, but white church gospel. You know, and it was very important that Elvis did what he did, because he did open it up to a lot of people to appreciate the fact that actually that you know, music is about soul, it's about feeling, and you know, and that's sort of really important. And so fair play to him. But he should have paid a few. I think there was a few people that wished they'd had a few of his pennies that he earned from their music.
Well, I think that's it. And also in the 60s, a lot of people recorded other people's songs, and more than they do now, I suppose. There was lots of covers, and a lot of the American singers, then British singers, people like Marty Wilde and all that, covered their songs, didn't they, as well? So
woke up and the toilet was overflowing. Must call the plumber. Realised the kids needed swimming lessons as it's all got out of control. Luckily the old windows gave out, so we all floated outside. Must get on to the glazers. And now the garden looks atrocious. Now what was the number for that landscaper?
Because you never know when a potential customer needs you, get yourself listed in your local flyer, the local business directory. Your local flyer, bringing businesses to your fingertips.
This is on the last chance. Hard-working man gone lazy. There are angels who've lost their wings, and good time girls wearing wedding rings, children who need mothers of invention, living at the last chance saloon. There are cheaters and teachers, kind-hearted singing preachers. There are dancers and singers, Sunday church bell ringers. Oh, living at the last chance saloon. doctors and fake healers. There are peddlers of distractions, promoting satisfactions, all living at the last chance to lose. Very much.
That was a great song written by the late Colin Cooper.
Gary Fitz here, every Monday, 10 o'clock. Coming up, we've got Eric and Ernie. Join me here on Seclo Sounds.
In your smile.
It's from 1975, Eric and Ernie were four...
Gary, it's not Eric and Ernie, it's Earl and Ernie, you know, the Cape Brothers, Union Man.
Oh, I see. Gary Fitz here, every Monday, 10 o'clock.
Earl and Ernie. You're listening to the Sticks Radio Show here on Seclo Sounds with me, Terry Sullivan, and that was the Last Chance Saloon Live from my guest today from the Climax-Blues-Band, Graham-dee. And let's rejoin Graham. You mentioned that you don't just play with Climax Blues Band, you play with a few other bands, or you have done, the Blues Collective, the Red Lemons you played with, and obviously you mentioned Dr. Feelgood, when they were, well, not Dr. Feelgood, but the Dr. Feelgood members who play as the Lone Sharks. You also do a lot of session stuff and vocal coaching, don't you, as well?
Yeah, I'm very busy with all this. The early bands that I play with never really achieved anything major. But for me as a singer, they taught me how to stagecraft and not be scared about going on stage and, acting the fool a little bit and realising that when you go on stage, you can be anybody you like, really. If you come off stage, you just turn back into the person that you should be. And when you're on stage, you can be anybody you like. So it's kind of a nice training ground for me there. But my session work has really taken off in the last sort of 20 years, really. I'm very busy doing that as well. I kind of like that because your name's not attached to anything. You can hear it on the radio or on TV, or you can hear your influence on tours and things that you've done with your vocal coaching and what have you.